Kind of a serious one today, guys. Hi everybody, welcome to Talk and Chalk. I'm Beck. Today's video is a bit of a response video to the fact that we may be closing our schools very soon. I say may because we haven't been given that instruction yet, but I feel like it's better to be prepared just in case. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm going to be referencing, welcome first of all, but I'll be referencing some other videos that I've done in case you'd like to use this particular activity. I've tried to put anything that's usable into a playlist called home learning or home activities, I think I called it, sorry. So if you want to see some instructions for myself about how these activities came about or how I intend them to be used in the classroom, there's more detail in those. You're all very clever people though, so you'll probably be able to figure these things out as we go through. So in the event that schools are closed here in Australia because of the coronavirus, I've started to put things together so that my staff can quickly, easily get something together that will enable our students to continue some learning at home for at least a 2 to 3 week period. I know 2 weeks is meant to be the isolation time, but you never know what's going to come up. So, you know, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's what we're looking at the moment. So what I've done is I've created a Google folder with everything that I've started putting together. So at the moment, a lot of it is in draft form. None of this stuff that I have created has been sent home. We haven't communicated anything with parents or anything like that about the expectation that these are the things that will be happening. This is just me starting to get stuff together. So I'm sharing with you guys the things that are easily editable that may apply to your context, especially if you are a context that will not have technology in student homes. So obviously if you're going the technology route, I can highly recommend OneNote, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams. If you haven't been introduced to Style Education, great for stage 3 science, but their particular platform, their online platform that they use is great for any kind of content or subject that you want to use with your kids, and then you can just upload and use things that way, kind of like Google Classroom, but heaps of stuff related to science, obviously. So if you are feeling like that's not the path for you, which will most likely be my situation, not all of our families have technology at home, internet is iffy, and even then in my context, a lot of our community don't speak English, so I can't rely on parents to be able to know how to navigate things like Teams or OneNote if the kids are inexperienced. If things glitch and they need to troubleshoot, those parents may not have those skills if they haven't used that platform before. What I would love to do if schools close is continue to utilize my Clever Pickles kids channel, which has maths games, handwriting, and I'll be uploading more stuff on that. I would also like to utilize our school social media, and I would recommend you do the same. You know, we've seen all over the world before principals and teachers that have done storybook time with kids using social media, and I think that's something we need to embrace as we head into this. If this is outside your comfort zone, now is not the time to be worried about that. If you're worried about putting yourself on film, sharing videos with your kids of yourself doing lessons and things like that, please don't let that be a barrier to your kids having some kind of engagement with education and with you if everything goes into lockdown, especially for our kids, especially for our refugees that have already suffered enough trauma. I don't know what this will do to them, and having that familiar face, that calming voice, that sense of familiarity and routine that we can provide for them will do them a world of good. So what I've done, like I said, I dumped everything into a Google Drive, and what I'm going to do now is just screenshot some of those resources so you can see what's in there, which I will share with you in a link in the description below. If you are watching this video in a platform different to YouTube, open this into YouTube. There is a little arrow down the bottom, like a triangle. I don't know if I'm pointing on the right side. There is a triangle there that will open up the description box, which has all of my links, including the link to the Google Drive. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so here's what I've got in the Google folder for you. Remember, this is still a process, but feel free to download and edit as you see fit. You won't be able to necessarily go into any Word documents like this and open with Google Docs. You need to come over here to this arrow in the top right corner there and click download. Then you come down to the bottom of your screen, which is usually where the dialog box will be processing, and then you'll be able to open it, click save as, and it's yours to save and do with as you wish. Most of the PDFs, same thing, and any of these other sort of Word documents, even if you don't want to edit it, at least if you do it that way, you've got it saved. So The first thing, the main thing I guess I want parents to have is a schedule for the day. So I've tried to mimic it to the school day. It's important that we do this. And we're using the must do can do's. So I've said between 9 and 9:30, here's your must do activities. And I've told them look at your checklist and tick off when you finish each activity. I've put fruit break and free play. It's important that they keep having these break times because it's going to be quite tense and stressful for them to be at home. So I've put a message in here reminding them, if it is okay, this is a nice time to play outside. Check you are allowed outside. We're being told we still need to have fresh air and sun. It's about not having contact with people. Okay, so between 11:30 and 12:30, must do activities. 12:30 to 1, lunchtime and free play. 1 to 1:30 can do activities, then a recess break, and then project or contract time. And then what I'm going to do below here is insert the various projects that the grades decide that they would like to send home for those students. Like I said, this is still draft mode. Now for the kids having a checklist at home to be able to do things, this is an example of what I'd like to send home. So you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The top here are the must do activities. The bottom here are the can do activities, as in the extra activities they can do if they've completed all of these things. Now, this isn't set in stone. These are just examples of what they could do. So every day they could read a book, do some spelling activities, handwriting, maths, draw a picture, write a sentence, play a game, some creative time, fine motor activities, and fitness. Now, these are things that you add to the pack that's going home. So obviously whatever handwriting is, there might be a handwriting booklet with, 14 days or 10 days or whatever worth of handwriting stencils. Spelling the same thing, maths the same thing. For play a game, you might give a sort of a choice board or a bingo board of different games that they could play, especially things that are easy to modify, like any games that use dice or dominoes or something like that. Okay, so in terms of project or contract time, I've given you guys a copy of some sample contracts that the kids could be doing. So these are all the activities that the kids could be doing, some points that they're worth, and perhaps a spot for the parent to comment in there about the child's work. So making sure the parents are touching base with these things. Now it's up to you how wordy you want to make these, if you want to edit them for younger kids or older kids. Once you download this, it's in a Word document and easy to edit. I've got a television one there, a sport one, which probably isn't great if sport's not being televised, but that's okay. They could still do some things on there. And then I've got a summer one, which you may want to adjust for winter instead. But, the kids can still do some summer stuff since we have just finished summer here in Australia. Now, other things that I've put in here, for the contract as well, I've put some examples of what contracts look like of the kids that I've had in the past. And I've done a video on this where I show you some of the books, so feel free to go and check that out. But there's some samples here so that, you can provide that at home so the parents have a bit of a visual to see what the expectation is. And then I've got some other sheets in here for you as well. So maths, you might want to send home today's number. Again, I've done a video on this. All you would need to do is pop the actual number up the top here for each day so the kids know what to do. And then they've got these activities they can do with the number. If you want full explanation about how I created this, just check out the video, today's number. But there's like 10 weeks worth of today's number activities in there. And again, it's a Word document, easy for you to edit and send home. Now, I've pinched some things from other pages from some of our distance education or home education places. So here's an art activity bingo card, different things on here. For example, create a floor plan. Create a floor plan for your dream tree house. I like that one. So that's something that could easily be sent home and done over a couple of weeks. There is a PE activity calendar. And this is an example for grades K to 5. You may have to teach the kids how to do these things if they haven't done it before, but there's some activities there. And giving them a choice board is great because it means that they can pick the things that they know that they can do. Here's an example of some online learning schedules as well. This one is for kindy, so things like language, maths, and inquiry and play. This is all in there for you too. There are some YouTube warm-up links. If your kids are going to do fitness at home and they have access to it, there are some links there as well. And what else have I got here for you? There's a reading journal here, and I've also put together a bit of a document that has some appropriate websites that they could use from home in the times that they have access to it. I'm being very stringent in any of my typed up instructions that parents try and limit screen time where possible, just so that they're not on there playing, Fortnite the entire time. There's some great fitness prompts on here. So 5 minutes of fitness, they could pick some of the activities to do on here. And I really like the visual on this because at least they can see it. They don't need to read it. Parents can understand it as well. If you're part of the public system, I'm sharing these, which you can get online. This is a framework for learning at home. And it's got examples on there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm really trying to keep mine minimal language in the instructions though for any of our families who don't speak English. So this for me in particular is too wordy. I'm trying to keep that checklist, but this is available and on here if it's helpful for you. And you can download these from the public website as well, which makes it a lot easier for you. And there's also a little bit of a social story in here as well about how to stay safe from germs. This one was just online that I downloaded for free. So this might be handy to send home as well, just to remind kids about being hygienic even when they're not at school. Okay, so like I said, lots of stuff in draft form, but fully editable for you so you can apply it to your context, and hopefully this makes the process a bit quicker and easier for you. So in my context, I want to send home as many guided readers as I can, all of those sheets, blank paper, send home packs of pencils. If you're in the position to do so, some counters, some playing cards, some dice that the kids could use for maths games, things like that, because some of these families won't have it, or at least a list that says, hey, go to the junk shop and get some playing cards, some dice, for a few dollars, at least for the family, to be able to utilize it that way. Just at least that way, so parents have something that they can continue with the kids during this really uncertain time. If you're going to send these things home, please try not to ignore our fitness, the arts, all those things that make learning absolutely wonderful. Don't just focus on literacy and numeracy. Our kids learn lots of different things in lots of different ways. If you have students with additional needs, I know this is super hard to cater for, but please try and give them something that is at their level that they can work on independently, which is really hard for some of our kids with physical disabilities, but whatever you can do, don't ignore them. Send something home the same way we would with all of our other kids. I will stay in contact constantly throughout all of this, so please message me through the Talk and Chalk Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, any of them. I will always answer. If I haven't answered, it could have gone to like the spam box or something like that, so I will keep checking those things to touch base with you guys. And if you've got something that you think is worth sharing and you're happy for me to share it through social media, send it through to me. I will share it with everyone as well. If you really don't know what your school has planned, please try not to panic. There are already groups out there on social media that are helping people. We've got schools across the world that have been closed for a while now, and they are sharing their resources. So the hardest part obviously is keeping in contact with our families, but try not to let this be too overwhelming for you. We're all here for each other to help and share. So hopefully this is helpful for you. I will edit that Google Drive throughout the week as I have things to add to it. So just check back with it throughout this week and see how we go. And we'll see what happens in the future for us all. Stay safe. Wash your hands, guys. I'll see you next time.